Do you think that The Daily Show functions just as entertainment? I sort of feel like The Daily Show...
I mean...
Yeah. Satire is it's more than entertainment. It is engagement, and it is criticism.
Here's what I would say. I feel more of a kinship to Jerry Seinfeld than I do to, you know, what you guys do or what CNN does or what NBC does. In that he is able to comedically articulate an intangible for people. When they see it, they go, "God, it's been in my head, and I know it's been in there, but I've never put it together with that kind of rhythm in 4 levels." And that's hilarious that you were able to articulate that. He is a craftsman at that. Like he's the best at being able to craft those moments of sort of these intangible, esoteric things and put them together into something that really connects with people. We try and do the same thing, but with a more political, social avenue. But it's still, if you were to look at our process, he's much more our process than the news is. Does that make sense? But
what I know of your process seems very similar to the way that I put my show together.
You really need to change the way.
I know. I mean,
we have to, because we're parodying a news organization, we have to have the logistics and mechanics of one.
Yeah.
But the process that the material goes through is not a news process. But
it's fact-checking.
Well, we do that, though, not to be journalists. We do that because it wouldn't be that funny.
If it was a lie.
Yeah, people would be like, "I think it's pronounced Baltimore, not Baltimore." Nah, you know, it's you do that because untrue things stand out like a sore thumb
Even though you identify yourself as fake news and having built with a fake news process.
Yeah.
I think
we don't say fake. I mean, fake is wrong. It's a misnomer that we use, and it's glib. It's not. We're not news anything.
Right.
We're commenting on the news, comedically.
I think that you think of it differently, but I think a lot of people who watch your show and who watch cable news think of what we do as not being that different, which sucks for me because I used to be the sort of mildly amusing person talking, like using humor to tell the story of the wasteful F-35 second engine on that fighter jet, and now I'm the person trying to be Jon Stewart and sucking.
I love that F-35
yes.
that you did. That wasteful engine bit, that killed him. You know, it used to be my bit.
It's even if you're not launching it in the same way, it's being received in the same way, and the barriers between what actually happens on cable news that you're satirizing and what you're doing, we're not seen as being all that different. Is that
the only thing that I would say? It doesn't worry me. I think I can understand how it would worry people in the news, but what I have existed. I am the Highlander. You know, there has been a form of me around in forever, a comedian who, with political and social concepts, criticizes them from a haughty yet ultimately feckless perch, throwing things like that. The box that I'm in has always existed. The box that you're talking about, I think, is new, and so I do think. If that's moving towards me, that's okay, but I really feel like I'm on pretty solid ground with the footsteps of my ancestors. You know, that's all, you know, I don't happen if the Smothers Brothers don't happen. Bill Maher, you know, those guys all paved a way for something that I do, but that's always existed.
That's kind of a news flash, right? The Daily Show no longer wishes to be considered fake news. They'd like to be considered as not news at all. I still think it's news. The finale ahead, including me getting a talking to about the word teabag. You don't think it was funny that they were saying teabag the White House before the White House teabags you? The caricature of the left as being as vociferous as the right is something that...
I don't think that's the caricature of the left. I really don't.
Okay.
I think the caricature of the left is one that is slightly... that they use as a cudgel. Didn't you hate when the Republicans used to use the phrase Democrat? Democrat.
The Democrat Party has the word rat in it.
Just seemed dickish.
Yeah.
Democrat Party. Or when you spoke out against the war, there was a subtle undertone of you're un-American. You don't want to win the war on terror. Well, I think that what also comes out sometimes from the other side is teabagger. Now that's, I think, derogatory. And I don't think anybody would mistake it for that, for anything other than that. And it's been used on this network quite frequently by hosts, by guests.
You don't think it was
without?
You don't think it was funny that they were calling them? They were saying teabag the White House before the White House teabags you.
I thought it was funny for a day.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny for a day.
Funny enough to play the John Waters clip of the teabagging thing on the bar?
For a day.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have run with it with guests and things for months.
I didn't run with it for months.
No, but you're part.
But I got criticized for it for months.
Well, because you kind of made hay of it. You made more hay of it than maybe, you know, that
took the joke too far.
Now, again, I have the leeway to do that. Now we get back into a whole other thing. I do have the leeway to do that, but the one thing I don't have that you have is the ability to really do something about it. You're in the game. Like, here's what people...
You're in the game, too. We're in the same game.
I don't think so. I think you're in a better game than I'm in.
How? What's the difference? What's the material difference?
You're on the playing field, and I'm in the stands yelling things,
Everybody sees you as on the playing field, too, I think.
Well, that may be. But here's... And again, back to the point of the rally. That rally, I could have gotten on the field. And people got mad that I didn't. But that was the point. That rally was to deflate a bubble and to do what I think satire does best, which is articulate an intangible feeling that people are having, bring it into focus, say you're not alone, it's a real feeling, it's maybe even a positive feeling, a hopeful feeling. In a weird way, it's idealistic, but it's impotent. The next thing I could do is step onto the field and go, so now here's what we're going to do, people. Jones, you get over there. Brooklyn, you grab the canteens. Yeah. We're going to get out there. But I don't. That's my failing and my indulgence, but it's done because I feel like I am where I belong. And I feel like I serve the best purpose in my life or in whatever it is that I can. But I don't take any satisfaction in that. And I don't take any satisfaction in just being a critic. Roger Ebert doesn't make movies. So to say, like, well, Roger, you're in the game. No, he's not. He's not making movies. He's sitting in a seat going, this movie sucks. That's me. And by the way, very proud to do it. There is no honor in what I do, but I do it as honorably as I can.
In politics, in covering the politics, we don't get involved. I mean, I don't get involved and tell people what to vote for, who to vote for.
Right.
I don't tell people, you know, call your congressman, we need to do this thing. I don't do anything like that. And so for me, right, I'm not on the field either. And
I feel like you're defending yourself from things that are not coming at you from me or from our rally or things like that in a way that, again, the really unfair thing is individuals make, it's one of those pictures where it's all made up of little pictures and you go, oh, that's my picture in there. But again, proportionally to what we do, you think we're not, do you think we're not fair to MSNBC? Proportionally.
Actually, I really don't. I don't actually think the false equivalence thing that you feel, that you want to talk about and that you feel defensive about the rally is a major issue. I don't feel like you guys, but I do feel like the left gets, including from you, gets criticized for stuff that we don't deserve because it is more institutional on the right than it is on the left, and that the examples that are called, you know, whether it's Alan Grayson yelling on the floor of the House or it's Code Pink interrupting a rally, are not equivalent to Sharon Angle saying if conservatives don't get what they want, they are going to use guns to get what they want, and she's a U.S. Senate candidate. That's my essential beef.
And you think that we point those out, we've said those are equal? I
think you have done some of that. I don't think it's the main thing that you do when you talk about the media. But the thing that I feel like where we are in the same boat, and you don't accept that we're in the same boat, but I think we are, is like, I remember right after the 2000 election, and I won't keep you here forever, I'm sorry. Right after the 2000 election, you said something I remember it was about George Bush and Dick Cheney. It was right after Bush v. Gore, and you said something to the effect of, Bush said, can we have the recession outside today because the weather's so nice? With the idea being that George Bush is an idiot. He's an infantile person who thinks that recess and recession are the same thing. And after the teabag the White House before they teabag you sign goes on Fox News, we talk about what the whole idea of teabagging it is and how funny it is that they don't get what that word choice means. I sort of feel like we're doing the same thing that you make, that, you know, essentially you exaggerate in order to be funny or in order to make a point, and everybody understands just a little exaggeration.
That's true.
But there's a commitment, I think we both have a commitment to not to not lying, to telling the truth even when we are making a point.
As we see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody does. I think I don't doubt that it's genuine. There is a part of me that feels like there is a high-mindedness to news and journalism that doesn't exist. I feel like I do have liberties that you don't have, and I could lose them by stepping into that. And what I would gain in that, I think, is a little bit more dignity, a little bit more, you know what I mean? Like I'd have a little more skin in the game, and I think there's something about that that's more courageous than what we do. So that I very much admire. But I also think, though, that there is a part of me that says, like, these rules have existed for people such as me forever, and we're not the ones bending them. I'm not.
We're getting to be more like you. You're not getting to be more like us.
Kinda.
Until the rally, then you got a little bit more like us.
Yeah, because I felt like in 12 years, I'd earned a moment to tell people who I was.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And you know, this isn't going to be me forever either. And that doesn't mean, you know, I'm going to remember the thing. But in my life, I also try and actually get on the field and help people, just in a different way, just not through the show.
Not through the show. You're a mensch for spending this much time with us.
I am a mensch.
You are a mensch.
It's a Yiddish word, right? Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and you can edit this out. I like you. There's, you know, we can have different points about, well, this is a little bit unfair as it goes in there, and I completely agree. Like, what happens in discourse is not precise.
Yeah.
But what is important, I think, is the place that people come from. And it's important to remember, like, when I do those things, I do try and remember where I think people are coming from, and I'm trying to do better in my life remembering that from even those that I really disagree with.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is based on, you know, the whole idea, you know, I don't know if you know this Iranian journalist, Maziar Bahari, but okay, so he was arrested. And there are, like, as I said in the thing, like, there are real enemies in the world, and really just bad, evil things. But there are a lot less of them than we probably, from watching all this stuff, think that there are. And that's all that I just try and remember in my own head to keep saying, because you got to understand, I watch this stuff like, you know, Clockwork Orange. I'm strapped to a chair with my things, you know, like, it just comes out. It's like if you watch local news all the time, you're going to think something terrible is going to happen in your family a lot. You will feel the fear more than.
I will definitely be afraid of driving for fear of car crashes.
Can I tell you this? Or the intestinal flu.
Yeah.
That is, here's what's the most amazing thing about this interview. I have not thrown up once while we've been doing this. And that is, I believe that may be the longest in 24 hours that I have gone. You, my friend, are like ginger root. You are the ginger root of interviewers, in that you have pulled things out of me I never knew were there, and yet still I leave not nauseous. And that is a wonderful gift and a talent that you bring to the news world in a way that most people don't, and I admire that, and I think that's really great.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Thanks for all the time, John. I really appreciate it. I will shake your hand.
I don't want to do it because I have the boubons.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
It was really nice of Jon Stewart to come over here to do this interview with the stomach flu and everything. I am as much a fan as I ever was. The full untrimmed, too long for TV discussion will be posted at mattoblog.msnbc tomorrow morning. That does it for us tonight. Thank you for watching.